Welcome to Shooting Straight with A1F.com. I'm Frank Miniter, the editor-in-chief. The NRA is America's First Freedom. Today, we have the great pleasure of sitting down with Ronnie Barrett, founder of Barrett Firearms, and now former owner of Barrett Firearms. Can you tell us what's going on?
Well, been 40 years in this, and it's been a fantastic ride. Loved every minute of it. But, as you get older, you got to plan for the future and make sure that the company is strong and with, time for a little bit of younger leadership and time for me to know when it is, my time is up, so to speak. And so, we had a little hunting rifle that we designed, the Fieldcraft, and a company in Australia loved that little Fieldcraft, and we were very busy making the Mark 22s and the 50 cal rifles that we've been doing for all this time. So we sold the Fieldcraft, a company called Naya, and they're tooling up to make that. So then as we talked a little bit more, we got into the position about talking about, hey, how would you like to just purchase the entire company? They had represented us in Australia to the Defense Forces down there for about 14 years. So we were already good friends, and all my people liked their people. And so it seemed to be a natural fit. They're a privately held company, just like I, family owned. And so it was a good fit, and I liked the folks down there. So we ended up selling to them.
The Australians I've known have liked their guns. In fact, there's quite a bit of hunting that goes on there. So there's a culture you're tapping into, a shared thing. In fact, Australia's been with us through most of the wars. They've been in it as in America.
I guess World War I up Australia's always been with us.
A strong relationship between the two nations.
Yes.
And now, tell me more about this company. I haven't heard of Naya before this.
Naya is, like I said, they're into the selling of guns and hunting rifles. That's why they were interested in the Fieldcraft. They're also into getting into missile defense. They're making artillery shells and a lot of things that I'd love to be in. A lot of exciting stuff. So it's a fast growing company. Good staff, and that's kind of another thing that I really admired from them, that my staff, during COVID, I learned I didn't have to come in anymore. It all operated. Everybody did their job. There was nothing I could add to it. It was perfect. I see that same thing in Naya. Each person that I've met and talked with, he knew what to do and doesn't have to be micromanaged. I just admire them, both companies, so well.
What about your team here? If you're staying, your employees?
They love it. Well, like I said, we've been we've had a relationship there for 14 some odd years, and we've been back and forth when we're working on different projects together. Barrett stays in Tennessee, as all gun companies should be located in Tennessee, but that's a joke. Well, not really. Not really. Not really. So we all stay in Tennessee, and it'll be more than likely that Barrett will grow even further there, and possibly with new and diverse lines. So
we'll be investing in Barrett.
Yes.
You're going to see it grow.
Yes, it will.
I hope you're staying on an advisory role or something.
They have me on for 3 more years as an advisory, and then my son, Chris, who designed the Mark 22, have him on for 5 more years. So, I think they're going to let me sweep the floors in the shop when they close up or something like that.
I've been a fan for a long time, Ronnie. You stood up, and it was a long time ago now, but you stood up and wouldn't sell to certain states and municipalities that were banning products we were making for the American people.
Right. If they tried to establish an elite force that was more powerful than the civilians that supposedly they were governing, I'm against it. I've always been a pro Second Amendment person. I'm pro NRA. I've been on the NRA board of directors for many years now. I think 2009, I'm on the vice president of the NRA Foundation, and nobody does more for our rights than the NRA. I didn't know if we were getting off on that or not, but I just have to tell you, if it wasn't for the NRA, we wouldn't be here. America would be a totally different place. And so I'm so thankful for the men and women that I served with on that board and all the good work that has been done.
That was a conversation for a while, banning 50 cal. There's something evil about that particular cartridge. And it doesn't come up as much now as it seemed to.
No, it was a low-hanging fruit, they thought. That I think one of the first ones was, of course, California. And when they banned 50 cal for their civilians, and California's civilianry was a good customer base for us. We we did a lot of business in California. And so that's when we decided, well, if you're not going to let your civilians own 50 cal, I'm not going to sell anything to you. Um, it, uh, I wish we could have all done that, but being a privately held company, I could do that. And I know when you're publicly traded on the stock market, you're not able to make statements like that. I understand that, but yeah, that low hanging fruit. They thought if we put, it's a nibbling process. If we can ban a 50, not too many people are going to show up to fight that. Well, the 50 cal Shooters Association came up and fought it. The NRA fought it, and we batted it back down for several years until all of a sudden, through a thing called ghost voting, which I think is what Speaker McCarthy has just done away with. You can't just not show up and let other people press your buttons. So through ghost voting, they banned the 50 caliber rifle out there, and it's still, I think, on people's mind. I think Illinois might be trying to do something like that as of late. They stick in their high capacity magazines and then add 50 caliber rifles. And I tell you, if the 50 caliber, if everybody else had the same reputation as the 50 caliber, there's virtually no crimes really committed with one.
Can't think of one.
It's ridiculous. They claimed that it was the weapon of gangbangers or whatever, drug lords shooting at. I don't know if you've ever tried to shoot a 50 out of a moving car, but it's not real. It's not doable.
Drive by with one of your rifles.
No drive by.
Interesting experience.
Yeah.
And my first 1,000-yard hit was with one of your rifles.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Good.
Rang that steel.
I could tell you've had a little recoil.
Good fun.
Yes.
So what's the future then for Barrett? You see it growing.
Mm-hmm.
You've sold it to a great partner, and you're staying somewhat involved in the thing.
I think what we're going to see, of course, is the number one we had in 2004. We became a U.S. rifle, and that was quite an honor to be able to do that. I became the fourth man in the American last 100 years that had his rifle design adopted by the U.S. military. So now I'm talking about rifles. I'm not talking about submachine guns and pistols and all that. So you'd have John Browning, John Garand, Gene Stoner, Ronnie Barrett. And now my son has become the fifth guy with his Mark 22. So we've never had a father and a son have their designs both officially adopted by the U.S. government. And just like my 50 cal, his rifle has been adopted around the world. Where the 50 is in service with over 70 different governments. And I expect his will be about the same thing. It is truly the world's most accurate rifle, the Mark 22 or the MRAD. So we're going to have more of that. We've kind of specialized ourselves in the leader of long range. You'll see some more products coming out that will knock your socks off. And so that's right around the corner. It's still under the wraps, but Barrett will soon be, showing that. So it's going to be quite exciting for us still.
Well, America's First Freedom, we like to call guns freedom's tool.
Yes.
And because there's this important relationship that's been going on since the beginning of this country of private arms, developing new arms, and then taking up by the military, that then improves our military and our civilians together and work together in that regard. And that's often missed by people, but that's your life. That's what you've lived.
It sure is. And when you say that in this country, it is a God-given, inalienable right. It is not granted by the government. It is your right to be free and to own your firearm or your knife or to protect yourself and things. So, of course, we're seeing that attempted to be eroded away, and we're going to stand and fight. That's not going to happen. The guys that wrote our Constitution, I agree with them. And it's supposed to be set in that document, and is not a living document that some people now that are more woke thinks are going to change. No, we're sticking. It's the Constitution, and we're hanging with that, and that's that.
Very good. When I first heard about this sale, like a lot of people, I worried, what's happening to Barrett? And now I know they're in good hands.
It's getting better. It's in good hands. Yes.
Good. Thank you, Ronnie.
Thank you, sir. Thanks so much.